Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for today's video. I am super excited because we are talking about the new face palettes from Benefit. This time Benefit has launched 4 different palettes and these are called the Cheekleaders palettes, Bronze Squad and Pink Squad. This is something they have been doing for, I want to say 3 years now. Every year they bring out a face palette containing 5 of their most popular boxed powders. Mostly it is 4 of their blushes and then they also include their best-selling bronzer, which is the Hoola bronzer. I'm gonna throw up a picture here of the past editions so we can see that in 2016 they had the palette called Cheekathon, which featured Hoola, Dandelion, Rockateur, Dallas and Coralista. That was the first one. I think I actually even missed that one because I can't remember that one. I do remember the next one though, the Cheek Parade one, because this one included Hoola Light and I remember I really wanted to try Hoola Light, but somehow I never got around picking up that palette. So as you can see, the Cheek Parade included Hoola, Dandelion, Rockateur, California and Hoola Light. And then last year, 2018, we had the palette called Blush Bar, which included Hoola, Dandelion, Rockateur, California and also their newest blush, Gold Rush. I remember I really wanted to pick up that one because that Gold Rush blush seemed like right up my alley. But again, I was kind of like, no, not picking that one up. I just don't feel it. However, this year with those new palettes, I definitely felt it. So the past 3 years, they came up only with 1 face palette, but now they have 4. So let me throw up some pictures of what they have this year. So we have the Cheekleaders Bronze Squad, which is the one I actually picked up myself. This one includes 2 blushes, 2 bronzers and a palette exclusive highlighter in the shade Cookie, which is like amazing. That's kind of also the reason why I wanted to pick this palette up, because I live for highlighters. Then they also have another palette with full-size products, which is the Pink Squad, and that one also includes a new palette exclusive highlighter called Tickle. Is it Tickle? Yes, it is Tickle. It's a lot more rosy and looks like a glowy blush, but it's still a highlight and it's also absolutely gorgeous. What is also cool is that this year they brought out mini versions. So if you're not really into the big bulky packaging, or if you already have a lot of the powders and just want to get your hands on the new highlighters, now you have the chance because they have also brought out mini versions of these Cheekleader palettes. So you have the Bronze Squad again, which includes Gold Rush, Cookie and the Hoola bronzer. And then you have the mini Pink Squad, which includes California, Tickle and Dandelion. So let me just show you which ones I got. I got the big Cheekleaders Bronze Squad palette and I got the mini Pink Squad blush palette. But before we dive fully into the face palettes, I thought it would be cool also to do like a full face of Benefit products, because I have enough stuff to actually have a full face on, which is quite surprising. I didn't really know I am that big of a Benefit fan. So let's just quickly put on some stuff and then talk more about the face palettes. I don't really have a primer, but I have something that is very similar to their Professional. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer, the pore minimizing one. And to me, this is exactly the same as the Professional. So we're just going to pretend that I have the Professional primer. I remember when everybody used to be in those pore minimizing primers. Now I'm more kind of into primers that are also moisturizers. That's why I love my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. That is like the best thing to put on your face. All right, we are primed. Let's move on to concealer. I only have the one. Actually, I'm lying, I have 2. But we're going to use this one. We're going to use Erase Paste, and this is not called Erase Paste anymore. It's called Boi-ing something. So you'll know that this is old because it's still called Erase Paste. It's the kind of like salmony color, kind of same as Bobbi Brown's corrector in Bisque, I believe that one was called, but this one is in shade 1, so it's quite fair. I believe shade 2 is more of that salmony orangey color. But let's just do some concealing. I haven't used this in a while. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this. Sometimes I feel like, yes, it does something to me, and then other days it's just like, I don't really see what's your point. I'm just gonna use a damp beauty blender to speed up the process. Do we see a difference? I mean, tiny bit, but you can definitely still see my dark blue under eyes peeking through. There isn't really a concealer that completely conceals my dark under eyes, and I feel like when I do conceal them completely, it makes my face look really, really cakey, and it makes me look rather old. So I'm not into that heavy concealing. And then I just want to conceal my eyebrow scar because I ain't getting rid of that one. Okay, let's move on to a foundation. I have talked about this one before. This is their Hello Happy Soft Blur Foundation in the shade 3. I really like this foundation because it's light coverage and it doesn't make me look cakey. What more can I want from you? And you have a little happy face. That is just an added benefit. No pun intended there. Put a tiny bit on my hand and then transfer it on my face. It looks actually super dark on me now. Have I gone even paler? I felt like that took 7 years to blend out because I had to bring a good bit down my neck to kind of match this, but okay, I did manage. Technically, I don't have a powder to set all this. I mean, I do have a powder. It's their Hello Flawless powder, which is a powder foundation with SPF 15, but this one is really old as well, and it's from back in the day when I used to go sunbeds and fake tan, so it's a bit dark, so I don't think I'm gonna use this today. And I also have other options for bronzer, so just FYI, I do have a Benefit powder. It's just not usable at the moment. What we are gonna do instead is just a little bit of Studio Fix really quickly all over the face. Nobody needs to know. I feel like the difference between my face and my neck is noticeable, but please forgive me. Let's just focus on here and ignore the neck. Okay, I want to move on to brows, and I have been diehard only using Benefit's Ka-Brow. I don't know why I haven't used this before. It is absolutely a gift from heaven because my brows they're quite thick. They are hard to maneuver. Like if you would comb them up with some product, they would not stay, they would just fall down. But this one does a very good job in camouflaging them. Almost used this up. I mean, there is like literally only the tiniest bit left. I don't know if you can see, but that is really, really on its last legs. I do have shade 3 in this, which might be a teensy bit dark, but I think I can get away with it. Once this is gone, I think I'm gonna try shade 2. I'm gonna speed through this because it's a painful process getting these brows done, and I don't want you to laugh at me. And bam! Just like that, in 2 hours we have brows, and to be honest, I think they look a bit crazy now. But to be honest, I'm kind of living for a Zotic brow at the moment. The little skinny wormy brows are like so 2009. We're not gonna do eyeshadow because I don't think Benefit is really known for their eyeshadows anyway. I can't even name an eyeshadow palette off the top of my head, and I have never really heard anybody talk about, oh my god, this eyeshadow palette from Benefit is amazing, everybody go and buy it. I've never heard one person say that. That doesn't mean they don't have great eyeshadows, but we do have their roller liner, and we're gonna do a bit of eyeliner. Not winged liner because I have hooded eyes and that just doesn't make sense. I do have a full video on this roller liner and also their eye bright pencil. If you want to check out that video, I'll link it up in the cards and then below in the description box, so go check that out. But if you haven't seen it, this is a felt tip eyeliner. It dries down really quick, really nice, but I can't just put that on my lid and I'm good to go. I need to prep my eyelids with eyeshadow primer and put on some kind of a powder on top of it, because my eyelids get very greasy and they're hooded, so that just means instant transfer from the lash line into my crease if I do not prep my eyelid. I already prepped my eyelid with eyeshadow primer. I just used one from Rimmel. This is their Magnifeyes eye primer. I don't have a Benefit one. They do have one though, and I'm not really the kind of person who wants to spend 20 euros on an eyeshadow primer, even though I've spent a lot more on a lot less, i.e. this eye bright pencil, which is doing absolutely nothing for me. Just gonna leave that. We'll go watch that video and you'll see how I feel about that eye bright pencil. I'm just gonna prep the eyelid with a no color color. This is just a random palette from Pennies, but they do have that perfect no color color here, so let's just use that quickly. Little water break. Right, let's just go in with this liner. I have to say the liner is good. I mean, it's dry now, so if I blink my eyes, there is no transfer. So yeah, the liner is pretty good. And before we can move on to the good stuff, we still have a mascara left. I think I'm gonna use a combination of Bad Gal Bang and their Real, just because this one is starting to dry out. But it is my all-time favorite mascara and I already have a backup. But again, I have a mini, just because they're so handy to throw in your travel purse. Who doesn't love minis? Even though this mascara is almost dried out, it still looks good. And I do prefer a more drier formula. So a lot of mascaras I don't like at first. I let them dry out a bit and then I do like them. And I will add just a little bit of their Real mascara on top. You don't need to, but I'm going to. Okay, so that is pretty much everything covered. Now we just need bronzer, blush and highlight, and this is where these bad boys come into play, and I'm so excited because they're just so good. Spoiler alert, yes, I do like these palettes and I think they are worth every penny. So let's talk about the first bigger Bronze Squad palette. This is what she looks like. I think I might take out this brush because it's gonna fall down. So here we go. Here we have the new Hoola Caramel Bronzer, which is definitely darker than Hoola, but it's also a lot warmer. The Hoola bronzer is very cool toned, but this is definitely warm. So if you don't like warm bronzers, you might want to stay clear of that. Then here we have in the middle the new Cookie Highlighter, which is like so beautiful. Then we have the Gold Rush Blush, also super gorgeous. Love a glittery, shimmery blush. Give it to me. Then you have your regular Hoola in here, and also Coralista, which is a coral shade blush. Moving on, these are full-size products and I live for a face palette. Now it might surprise you, I didn't own any of Benefit's blushes, and there is a very simple reason for that. I don't like this kind of packaging. So this is their Hoola bronzer. I do have this one. Much loved, hit pan on this, but the packaging of this is just not convenient at all, and especially the little mirror in here, it's so annoying. It's so hard to kind of see yourself in it. So I think that's why I held off buying any of the blushes, and especially now that we know that Benefit always brings out these kind of palettes for like way less. I mean, this is 65 euro and it's worth, I think Hoola is 34 euros, so you get a lot for very little. There is a downside though with this palette. I think they could skip the little brush and include another powder, but that's just cherry picking at this point, I think. And some people don't really like this because it's quite bulky. I'm not gonna lie, it is bulky. And sometimes I do get in a mood and I'm like, oh no, I'd just rather grab a single blush. I don't want to carry this whole thing. But if you think about it, this has everything that you're going to need. You have your bronzer, blush and highlight, and if you really wanted to, you could use Hoola as an eyeshadow as well. I could have done that today, but I just didn't want to. And then I picked up the Cheekleaders mini pink squad because I was thinking I don't want to get both of the bigger palettes and then double up on the Hoola bronzer, because the Hoola bronzer is in both of the palettes. So I decided to go for the mini version, which I think is super, super cute. In comparison, this is the big one and this is the small one. So definitely it is a mini, but as you all know, I do love minis. The mini palette does not come with a brush, but I don't think nobody's losing out on there. My favorite thing I think about this palette is it smells so amazing. It smells fresh and kind of peachy. It's really nice. But anyway, we get here the California blush, which is quite pigmented. It has a bit of a sheen. Then the new highlighter Tickle, which is I want to describe it as a shimmery blush. Very intense shimmery blush. And then we have Dandelion, which is a very, very subtle pink blush. You were to only get one out of the 4 options. If you just wanted something handy to throw in your purse and have best of both worlds, I think I would go with the mini but bronzed palette, because that one you get a blush, highlighter and bronzer, whereas in this one you only get blushes and a highlight. So I think if you were only gonna get one and you wanted to just get the small one, get the small bronze one. But between both of the bigger ones, I think I chose the bronze palette because I really, really wanted the cookie highlighter, because that is like, I live for that highlighter. And I really wanted to see what the Hoola caramel is like. Can I pull it off? I know I'm like very, very fair, but I have used it with a very light hand and I think I can pull it off. So I will demonstrate a little bit of that today for you. I know I've been just talking on and I haven't used any of the products, but it's just I'm so excited. They're so good. If you have been holding off on getting one of these face palettes in the past like I have, I think this year, go for it. For you die-hard Benefit fans though, who probably already have all the blushes and bronzers, you might be like, I don't really like it. I don't want to double up on all the products, but then again, there you go. Just get the mini and you get the new highlighters, which are palette exclusives. Okay, enough rambling. I'm gonna use a little bit of the Hoola caramel then, just to show you what it's like. But of course, I'm gonna show you some swatches of the palettes as well. First up is the Cheekleaders Bronze Squad palette. So here you have the Gold Rush blush, the Cookie highlighter, Hoola caramel, right next to it the old school Hoola, and then Coralista. And then I have also swatched for you the Cheekleaders mini pink squad blushes and highlighter. The first one is California, then we have Tickle the highlighter, and Dandelion. I really want to be careful with this bronzer because it can get muddy really quickly. So I'm just gonna take a little mini Real Techniques brush. This one is their Mini Expert face brush. And we're just gonna start here in the hairline. Hoola caramel, here we go. Bam, that is quite dark. But the thing is, it's really, really warm. I mean, it looks super orange on the camera now. It's not that orange. Like, I only tapped in like the tiniest bit. It's so pigmented. Which is absolutely not a bad thing, you just need to blend more. But if you are a lot paler than me, maybe just skip this one and get the other Pink Squad palette, which only has the Hoola in there. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit on the face. Just, oh my god! I think I'm gonna need another brush to blend this out. Blend, blend, blend. Oh, just FYI, I don't contour, I just bronze. Whenever I contour, I just make my face look really, really droopy, so I just like to bronze. Okay, I think we have blended that in quite nice and we look rather tan, like we're on a holiday. Every time I say when there's like a darker bronzer or something, oh yeah, I can use that on holiday when I'm tan. And I'm like, I don't really lie out on the beach anymore at all. If I am on the beach or at the pool, I'm just underneath that umbrella thing. So I don't know when am I ever gonna get tan again. So on this side, I did not dip in to the color. I'm just using what's left over on the brush, and that is quite nice. Even though on the camera it looks really, really orange, it's not, I swear. Yeah, so this side, definitely a lot nicer. So maybe that's something, yeah, if you tap your brush into the product, swirl it around on your hand, and then go apply on your face. Unless you are tan and this is your perfect shade, then go for it. I'm gonna bronze up the neck as well because I look a little bit disproportionate, but for the neck I'm just gonna use the regular Hoola bronzer, and I'm actually gonna dip into the one that I've hit pan on. Oh my god! I dropped the Hoola bronzer into the palette and it attacked my favorite shade in there, the Cookie highlighter. Not gonna lie, I'm a bit upset now. Oh, and it destroyed a little bit of the Hoola caramel as well. The thing is, when you break a powder, it looks like a small hole now, but it's going to like keep cracking until it's like completely cracked. And all of a sudden we look like we are back from a sun holiday. Hey. What blush do you guys want me to use? Because I have like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say we're gonna do some combinations of the blushes. We're gonna start off with the Dandelion blush, the subtle one. And I'm gonna use my Real Techniques Rebel Edge medium brush. I have a first impressions on these brushes as well. If you want to see that, I'll link it up here. I do really like this brush, especially the medium one. There's one that is a lot bigger than this. That one I'm not a fan of. This one is really nice, especially for blush. So this is Dandelion, very subtle. It has a tiny bit of sheen. I thought it was matte, to be honest. Or maybe there's just some residue product on this brush. I don't think so, it's like clean. But it's very nice. I do like it. Let's top Dandelion with California. It's a lot more pinky. Like I only dip like a little bit in here. I don't swirl it around. I like to build up, because as you saw with the bronzer, it's a lot harder to blend it out. Most of the time I do use a combination when I'm using this palette. I use both of the blushes and then the highlight. On the other side, let's use maybe Coralista first, because that one doesn't have as much shimmer as the Gold Rush blush, which is my absolute favorite. But just be mindful, this one comes with a very thick overspray of product. So the first time you're gonna put this blush on, it's gonna be just gold glitter. Keep that in mind. So just swirl it around first with your brush and then the product reveals itself. Right, so we're going into Coralista, and this is also a mini multitasking brush from Real Techniques. To be honest, I feel like the two sides look pretty similar. Yeah, the combination of Dandelion and California looks exactly just like Coralista here. And that's the thing with a lot of the blushes for me. I mean, they look very similar on the skin. I think it also depends what bronzer you use, what foundation you use, where you are with your skin. Are you like tanned? Are you not? It all depends how that blush is going to look on you. We could leave it like this, is nice, but I do want to throw a little bit of Gold Rush on both sides, and then we're gonna overkill it with the highlighters. If you have the Gold Rush, that's a tongue twister. If you have the Gold Rush blush, you don't really need a highlighter because it is super glowy, and I live for that. So you can just kind of be like natural and leave it like that, but we're gonna top it off with highlighter, of course. So there we go, have all the blushes on my face. Why not? Okay, let's move on to my favorite part, the highlighter. And first up, we're gonna use the Cookie highlighter. Oh, it breaks my heart that you're broken, but okay. So let's put Cookie on the side first. See that? Like, oh, It's so blinding and so gorgeous. Put a bit on the nose. My camera cut me off there in the middle while I was highlighting my nose, so I don't know where we left off, but look at this highlighter. I haven't been excited about a highlighter in so long. If they would sell that highlighter separately in a box, that one I would definitely buy it as a separate. It looks like it's wet. It's so gorgeous. Can't stop staring at it. But okay, let me show you the other highlighter as well. Tickle. I didn't bring an extra highlighter brush with me, so I'm just gonna clean this one off. This is Tickle, which is in the pink Cheekleaders face palette squad. It's a lot of tongue twisters. Oh, it's also nice. It's definitely not as in your face. I mean, it's still quite intense, but this one is more peachy. It's like an intense version of the Gold Rush blush, if you ask me. Like, there's a lot of like gold mixed in with pink on this one, whereas this one is more like icy. This is more like goldy and pinky. It's like a blush on steroids. Oh, but this one, Cookie, love it. To finish off the face, that just sounds creepy, to finish off the face, whatever, you know what I mean. For lips, again, I don't think Benefit is known for their lip products, but I do have a little mini Benebalm, which I do love, so we'll just apply a bit of that. Just a dab, because I don't want it to overpower our face here. And that's it. That is a almost full face of Benefit products featuring their new Cheekleaders palettes. What do you guys think? I think for me, definitely the stars of both of these palettes are the new highlighters, just because I am a highlight junkie and I just keep showing you my highlight. But I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous. Final thoughts on these products. I do recommend both of these. If you don't want to commit to the full one, just go get one of the mini ones. The brush in here, it's skippable for me, but I have seen a lot of people use this as like a contouring brush, so maybe you can use that for the Hoola bronzer or the Hoola caramel. I do love every little single thing in this palette, even though the Hoola caramel is a little bit dark, but you saw, I think I can make it work. Okay, I think I have rambled on for way too long now. If you are still here, please give me a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And of course, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Also, I would like to know, what squad would you support? The bronze squad or the pink squad? Let me know in the comments. I think that would be really interesting to know. And even if you are interested in these palettes, or are you over it, let me know in the comments as well. Thank you again so much for spending your time with me. I will link here some more videos that you might be interested in, so go ahead and click on them now. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye.